reciprocal equations. In the previous session, we saw transformation of equations, where we were transforming an equation into another equation whose roots were the reciprocals of the roots of the given equation. Here it is much more straightforward. Equation which remains unchanged when x is replaced by 1 by x. Such equations are called reciprocal equations. Now, one example of that is 6x6 plus 25x5 plus 31x4 plus 31x2 plus 25x plus 6 equal to 0. Okay, now here if you observe this, you will realize certain things. One is 6, 6, 25, 25. 31, 31, and x cube is missing. So middle term is missing here. Okay, now let's look at another example of a reciprocal equation. X to the power of 5 minus 5x4 plus 6x cube minus 6x square plus 5x minus 1 equal to 0. Again, if you observe here there is a 1 minus 1, minus 5 plus 5 plus 6 minus 6, and there are no missing terms. Yes, so based on this, these equations can be categorized into two types, class 1 or type 1. Now, in this case, the coefficients of the terms equidistant from the start and end are equal. Okay, similarly, we have class 2 or type 2. The coefficients of the terms equidistant from start and end are equal in magnitude but opposite in signs. Okay, so we have seen both these two types. Now, when we can very easily prove that a given equation is reciprocal or not by just replacing x by 1 by x. So just as a small exercise, let's do that. Minus 5x4 plus 6x cube minus 6x square plus 5x minus 1 equal to 0. So this becomes 1 by x5 minus 5 by x4 plus 6 by x cube minus 6 by x square plus 5 by x minus 1 equal to 0. Right? Now let's take the LCM and add up all these. We end up with 1 minus 5x plus 6x square minus 6x cube plus 5x4 minus x5 equal to 0. So here again you see x5 minus x5, x5 minus 5x4 plus 5x4 minus 6x cube plus 6x cube plus 6x square minus 6x square. So it has actually not changed. Now you might say, but the sign has actually changed. Minus x5, here it is actually x5. So to address that, what we can do is take minus out. What do we get? We get, now let's write this itself in the proper order. X to the power of 5 minus has gone out, minus 5x4 plus 6x cube minus 6x square plus 5x minus 1 equal to 0. And this will get cancelled out if we multiply both sides by minus 1. So now if you see x to the power of 5 minus 5x to the power of 4, it matches. Okay. Now here, as I mentioned, we have class 1, class 2 type of reciprocal equations. Based on the degree of the equation, we can have odd equation, odd reciprocal equation, or even equation. Now, let's look at these the some of the properties of these equations. One, very quickly you can figure out that 0 cannot be a root. Why? Because if 0 is a root, its reciprocal also has to be root, right? But 1 by 0 is undefined, so 0 cannot be a root. Another thing is, if alpha is a root, then 1 by alpha is also a. Now remember, if we are talking of complex roots, right, there also same thing would apply, whether the root is complex, real, or surds, it doesn't matter. Next one, let's look at odd reciprocal equations. In this case, remember, you will have one of the roots must be reciprocal of itself. Yes. Why? Because if it is an odd degree reciprocal equation, that means if you take out pairs, because reciprocal pairs will always be there. So if we are talking of a degree 5 equation, 2 will be reciprocals, another 2 will be reciprocals, and you will always be left out with the odd man out. That odd man out has to be a root which is reciprocal of itself, and the number reciprocal of itself is -1 or +1. Say, if we say -1, its reciprocal would be 1 by -1, be equal to -1. Similarly, +1, its reciprocal would be 1 by +1, which is equal to 1, right? So that means either +1 or -1 will be a root of odd degree equation. Okay. Now, if it is first class or type 1 equation, then -1 is a root, which implies that x plus 1 is a factor of the equation, which means by dividing the given equation by x plus 1, we will get the other factor. Now, if it is a second class equation, odd equation, then in that case +1 is a root, which implies x minus 1 is a factor, right? Now, this is as far as odd equations are concerned. Now, if we talk of even reciprocal equation, where the highest degree, highest power of x is even, in that case, x square minus 1 is always a factor, which implies x square minus 1 equal to 0, which implies x square is equal to 1, which implies x is equal to plus or minus 1. That means both +1 and -1 are the roots, apart from other roots that will be there in pairs. Okay, and this is always true only for class 2 or type 2 equations. Now let's look at some examples, given roots arriving at the equation, or rather, even if the roots are not given, how do you actually figure out a reciprocal equation? First thing is, we write down the roots. Okay, remember, if you are going for odd equation, then you have to have only one, either plus or minus. If you are going for even, you have to take both plus and minus. So let's say plus 1 and minus 1, both I'm taking as roots. And then I take 2, which means 1 by 2 is a root. I take 3, which means 1 by 3 is also a root. Okay. So these are the set of roots. And based on this, we arrive at the equation. So which means x minus 1, x plus 1, x minus 2, x minus half, x minus 3, x minus 1 by 3 equal to 0. And this, if we open it up, we get 6x6 minus 35x5 plus 56x4 minus 56x square plus 35x minus 6 equal to 0. Just see whether it is reciprocal or not. Now, so this is what type of equation? This is a even type 2. Why? Signs are different. So 6 minus 6 minus 35 plus 35 plus 56 minus 56. Okay, so type 2 signs are different, equal in magnitude. Okay, now let's change the roots somewhat. 1 minus 1 and let's say minus 2 minus half minus 3 minus 1 by 3. In this case, what happens? We have x minus 1, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus half, x plus 3, x plus 1 by 3 equal to 0. And this will become 6x to the power of 6 plus 35x5 plus 56x4 minus 56x square minus 35x minus 6 equal to 0. So here also 6 minus 6 plus 35 minus 35 plus 56 minus 56. By the way, also remember there is a missing term here. Here also there is a missing term. Okay. So which means this is also a even degree type 2 equation. Okay. Now let's change it slightly. So let's say we have minus 2 minus half, but this time 3 and 1 by 3, they are positive. So now what happens? We get x minus 1, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus half, x minus 3, x minus 1 by 3 equal to 0. And this becomes 6x6 minus 5x5 minus 44x4 plus 44x square plus 5x minus 6 equal to 0, right? Again, this is even degree equation. Here it is 6 minus 6 minus 5 plus 5 minus 44 plus 44 and the cube is missing. So even type 2 equation. If just like this, we want a odd equation to be formed. So in that case, remember, roots will be plus 1 and then 2.5, 3 and 1/3. Minus 1 will not appear. Either plus 1 or minus 1. Any one of the roots will be there. So in this case, since we have taken it as plus 1, this will be x minus 1, x minus 2, x minus half, x minus 3 and x minus 1/3 equal to 0. Okay. And this expands to 6x5 minus 41x4 plus 97x cube minus 97x square plus 41x minus 6 equal to 0. So here if you notice, middle term is not missing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? The numbers are opposite signs. So that means this is odd class 2 or type 2 equation. Now, similarly, instead of taking +1, let's take -1 as a root. 2.5, 3 and 1/3. In this case, we will end up with x plus 1, x minus 2, x minus half, x minus 3, x minus 1/3 equal to 0. And the equation form will be 6x5 minus 29x4 plus 27x cube plus 27x square minus 29x plus 6 equal to 0. So here if you notice 6 minus 29 plus 27 plus 27. So this is what type? This is odd class 1 equation. Okay, so you need to practice this and understand the nitty-gritties of that. Remember, I told you that x square minus 1 is always a factor only for class 2 type 2 equation. The moment you see that it is a reciprocal equation and the degree is even, immediately you can divide that function by x square minus 1 to get the other factor. Okay, which will help you in finding the other roots. Okay, that's it. Bye.